How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have the Artificials with us tonight, and they can say their names and what they do in the band.
My name is Alan Rigdon, and I play guitar and a little tiny bit of singing.
I'm Sarah, and I sing.
I'm Luke. I drum and write some little electronic parts here and there.
There we go. Well, guys, thank you for joining me.
Do a little more.
Do a little more. I feel like Luke does a lot. We got to give him a little kudos. But I've been following your guys' journey for quite a bit, and it's cool that it comes a little full circle for me. So thank you guys for taking the time to come on. But I have to know, I always ask this question when I start out is, how the Artificials form. How'd you guys start out? I know you released Heart about roughly 5 years ago, and that's when I found out about you guys. So curious on how like the whole journey began pretty much.
Well, to start from the very beginning, it started with me. Everyone has their own story of it because, Luke came in later, but and so did Sarah actually. So we all have our own story of how it started. But it all started with me and one of my best friends. His name is Aaron Surratt, and we just wrote music in my bedroom and called it the Artificials. We named our band after a Sky's Airplane song called the Art.
Very cool.
Because we thought it sounded cool. But Sarah's got to go for a second and get the kid.
Okay,
Having 3 kids is crazy.
Yes, I can only imagine.
But it started with me and my buddy writing music in my room with a little it's called a micro BR Boss recorder.
Okay.
And you could look it up, man. It's this old like little digital recorder, and we used that in a PSP to program beats. And
wow,
it was insane, dude. Like I would have to press play and then like stop to get the beats to line up perfectly. Like it was crazy. It was like almost like a little tape machine.
That's so crazy.
And so that's initially how it started. But we started writing music, put it on MySpace, and then people loved it, even though the recordings were really bad and stuff. But like we were getting some traction. And that's really what started getting me noticed for other bands. Like my first band that I was in called Broadcast the Nightmare, which we were on Sumerian Records and toured with, all kinds of bigger bands that are still doing stuff today.
Very cool.
But, after that, like Era noticed me because of the Artificials, because I had my music up on MySpace. So
wow.
The Artificials is actually like a big part of like why Era exists, I guess, in my perception, just because like if I wouldn't have done the Artificials, I would have never joined Era.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty nuts. And then
but after that, like I was with Era for a little while, and like the Artificials was kind of like a side project for me.
Sure. Yeah.
And then as the years go by, I'm like touring with Era and stuff, and then I meet Sarah and we get married, and then I part ways with Era, and that's when a new chapter of the Artificials starts, and she'll tell you how she started with the Artificials.
More into what you were doing. I don't think I have anything to say about that.
What?
I mean, I always wanted to be in a metal band whenever I was a teenager. But yeah, I was signed once by Shania Twain's guitarist, but whenever I told him I wanted to do like metal, he was like, "You can't do that. That would be like mixing chocolate and chainsaws." And I was like, "No, that's what I want to do. That's what I've always wanted to do." Like we just parted ways, but that was cool to see actually be able to happen when I got going to Alan. Got my metal band.
Yeah.
And then I guess how did Luke join? Luke, I guess you can talk about how you guys how you joined the band.
Yeah, for sure. So I've been friends with Alan now since Era started as a band. I was in like middle school, I want to say, and I mean, I want to say that like Jesse and those guys, they were all like, if not just about to be out of high school, like fresh out of high school when Era started. And So I found them on MySpace when I was, I want to say 13 or 14 years old. And I actually made my Apple ID to download Era's first EP because there were no physical copies.
Wow.
So I was a fan I've been a fan for a really long time, but I've known Alan throughout most of that because I saw like these guys were local. I was like, I want to meet these guys, connect with these guys, and I got to know all the guys in Era. So me and Alan had been friends throughout pretty much all of that, and it was actually about this time a little bit over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago. I don't really remember, but I was just kind of I was actually playing drums at my buddy's church,
Oh
and I
wow.
hadn't
Okay.
like sat at a kit to play in a really long time as I had moved, and I didn't have a drum kit at my house anymore. And I had listened to the most recent Artificials EP that had come out at the time, and I just listened to it on repeat for the longest time. And anyway, I was just like put my headphones in, and I was just chilling at my buddy's church at like 10 p.m. and no one else was there, and just like playing Artificial songs. I'm like, I think I'm gonna just like track a little part. So I tracked like one piece of one of the songs, and Alan was like, "Yo, dude, I didn't even know you played drums." I'm like, "Yeah, I play drums," because we had played guitar together and we'd hung out like 10 years prior. But anyway, asked me to actually come film Carrier, and then I ended up getting to write some parts with for that song. And then they asked me when we filmed the music video, they were like, "Hey, would you want to come on full time and be our drummer? If we'll give you some time to think about it." I was like, I don't need time to think about it. Yeah, I definitely want to play. Definitely want to play with you guys. Like, no time needed. Melodic metalcore. I mean, favorite genre always. So I'm like, Alan's been one of my favorite musicians since I was, I don't know, tiny little kid. So I'm like, getting to play music with this guy and with Sarah, I'm like, it's like, I was just super stoked. So that's how I came into the band. So from there, just been writing drums. We've been trying to write drums, up to par with the riffs that Alan writes and the vocals that Sarah writes. And so it's been a lot of fun. I've gotten to write some little pieces and little diddly parts here and there. So, but no, it's just contributing any way that I can, because the songs are always so like, they're always so good when they come to me anyway. And I'm like, dude, Alan, this is the best song so far. And then he sends me another one 2 weeks later, and I'm like, dude, Alan, this is the best song so far. And yeah, so it's like eventually there's going to be a song that it's like, I'm still going to love it, but I'm not going to say it's the best song so far. And Alan's probably going to think that I like hate the song. But no, so yeah, I guess it's been about a year that I've been able to write these songs with him. And yeah, so it's been a lot of fun.
It's the best song so far, Alan. Just remember that. That's what I say every time. When I was listening to Memento Mori, obviously, guys, I'll leave a link below so you can go check that out. But like I said, I have been following you guys since Heart, and I kind of fell off the train a little bit. But then I came back and listened to Memento Mori just because I've been seeing you circulate more on like social media, which is awesome. So I felt like since, that time came around and I was like, man, now I'm doing like reaction videos and stuff. I was like, I feel like I have to, I owe that to you guys to do it. So I felt like for me, it was cool as not only like a refresher for myself, but also to see how much you guys have grown in that like 5-year gap of like not listening to the Artificials and going back and like I just listened to Mana, like Watercolor, and I also listened to Embers, and I was like, wow, they have grown so much over that time. And I'm like, man, I feel really dumb for like not checking them out over that time frame. So it's really cool to see you guys continuing to like, hack at it and obviously create music, because you guys have been on a roll as of recently in terms of the singles. So I imagine either, I don't know, I'm maybe reading into it, maybe there might be like an EP or some sort of like album possibly down the line, if I can see into
Well,
the future a little bit.
I would love to, because doing albums are fun, but
Sure,
they're
yeah.
a lot of work, and
They are,
it's
yeah.
just time that we don't really have, like us being parents to 3 kids, and like
Yeah.
Luke's got his own life, and so like finding the time to get get an album done as an independent band is
Mhm.
tough. that's why we decided to do the single. Like we initially started doing a single every month,
Yeah.
and that proved to be very difficult. So, you know, we're still trying to do a single a month, but it's turning out to be like a single every other month.
And that's
But as far as like an EP or album, I would love to do another one for sure.
oh, okay. Sarah, were you gonna say something that looks like
Yeah.
yeah, I thought it looked like as if you were gonna say something, so I didn't want to like cut you off.
Well, also, if we're gonna do an EP or album, it's kind of hard to stay relevant and everything like that because we kind of depend on, you know, getting paid from the singles. And it's hard to just do anything for like a whole year or half a year. We get nothing, and it's like kind of gotta stay relevant for sure. Like singles are working out better for us in our lifestyle right now.
Mm-hmm.
Can't really just disappear for a long. Can't afford it.
That's true, you know, and I think too, like I don't know, maybe it's me because I'm gonna be 30 next year, and I feel like for myself, like I grew up in the era where you got the CDs, you have like you just go out and buy music, right? And I mean obviously still buy music a lot, as I'm sure most people know here on the channel, but I always find that I love singles, but in some aspects, I'm very much old because I love seeing kind of the progression of the band as like in an album or an EP where you can kind of see like, okay, this is where they're going, this is what they're trying to do, versus a single where it's like, okay, you got it, it's immediate, and then like 2 seconds later they're like, okay, when's the next single coming out? When can we get the next song? And it's just very like consumerism a little bit, and not that I don't love seeing you guys put out a song roughly a month and a half out, but I always find that doesn't always sit well with me personally because I'm always like, what's the vision, where are they going? Like I love seeing the storyline kind of unfold as well, and I feel like with a single songs roughly are around like 3 to 4 minutes, right? And then you just get that 3 to 4 minutes, and you either like just absolutely just listen to that song a ton, and then you're like, okay, I've listened to this for a solid week, like when's the next thing coming out that I can like savor and enjoy? And I have to know that the next song's coming at some point, and I'm gonna have to just be stoked. And I think what you guys are doing with like Patreon as well is great, so I'll also leave a link below for that, so go sub up to that. I think that's a great way for bands that obviously make money and hopefully sustain like an EP or an album in the future, hopefully.
Yeah. You're making a lot of good points, man. Like I totally get where you're coming from because I'm an old guy too. I like bought music. I lived at FYE. I don't know if you know what that is.
I do, yeah.
But I lived there. Like anytime I went to the mall, nobody wanted to hang out with me because they knew I was going to be there for like 4 hours.
Yeah, same.
Looking
Yeah.
through CDs. So like, I get it, dude. I understand completely. But like, in the whole consumerism thing, like it does suck for people. Like if you're just trying to get money, like squeeze people for it.
Yeah.
But we have a unique situation. Like we're a family, and we do this from pure passion, and then
Sure,
also
yeah.
because we kind of do want to make it a business. So, and that's what it's become, but at the same time, like we do really care about the stuff that we make.
This is like so much more than going to a job every day. There's more stress. Like I don't know why we want to stress yourself. Like it's a lot. We're working harder than we would at a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel that, yeah.
Look like it because no one's here, but it feels like it. Like it's just get scatterbrained.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot.
We've learned a lot this year being an independent band and like really pushing it. So
yeah, and I feel like I think if anything, this I would hope incentivizes people to go check out, like to go buy merch, to go do all that sort of stuff, because it does, like I always say this all the time, is like that always does go back to the band, especially for more independent, which is a lot of the bands that I have here on the channel that need that source. Like we always talk about when's the next thing coming, but it's not necessarily me saying like, okay, like go out and go buy like every size of every shirt, of every CD, of whatever. I mean, you could do that. Go on ahead. That's great. That would be, I would give you massive kudos if you did that. But um, that's obviously not realistic. But I would hope that people, when they listen to, the artificials, they're like, man, I really like this band. How can I help them out? And, I think that, again, the Patreon's a great source. And then just, obviously buying merch, and somebody else is going to be like, I like that shirt. Where'd you get it from? And then you're like, oh, it's a sick band. You should check out. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's just a good conversation piece. And, in regards to the Patreon, like, what are you guys doing to, obviously incentivize people to go check that out and like to support what you guys do? Because obviously, making music is very much a passion, similarly to what I do here. Like, you guys spend a lot of time and effort in crafting music and coming up with the songs and putting them out, and obviously the rollout that goes with that. So, what do you guys do within the Patreon that just allows you to, continue to do what you need to do?
The Patreon, we just basically like we kind of do like offer like insight into like how we write music,
Okay.
like how we're able to do this every month. Like we do live streams on Twitch of me
Nice.
and Sarah writing, and then early access, so people get early access to like all the singles, like at least a week before it comes out. Um, you know, you get percentages off of merch, and then behind the scenes stuff like content that we post on YouTube and things like that. And then also resources like things that we create, like sample packs and tabs, guitar tabs, and also like stems and like multi tracks and things from our songs, and just trying our best to get as creative as we can with it.
Sure.
We
Yeah.
definitely feel like we could be doing more, because lately it's been really hard, man, to kind of like
Oh yeah,
figure
I
out what
know.
people are interested in.
Yeah, I think it's tough. Like, I see bands try, I think that, you see bands trying to do this and make it, because, obviously no one, when they watch interviews, are like, man, I wonder how I'm going to give them money to do this, right? Like, they're always like, this is something I enjoy, if I can support them in any way, I'm going to try to do that. And I feel like you guys kind of go about it in a unique way where, again, you have the tabs, you have the live streams. Like, there was some stuff that I went back and looked at, and I was like, okay, this is really interesting. And I think that it offers a different insight that, other bands, not necessarily that they don't take, but it's a good way to, I think, engage your fan base and have more of a like family aspect to what you guys do, as opposed to like being like, okay, here's my money, like I feel like you guys make it very interactive, and I got to give you a lot of kudos for that, because I always try to find ways, because I don't want to sound like I'm like, oh, okay, here's my new hoodie that I made for you guys, pick it up, it's
Yeah.
$50, like that doesn't it never felt right, and it probably will never feel right to me. So I'm glad you guys kind of go about it in a way where um you guys are getting a lot out of it, and I hope that
Yeah.
the people that are within your Patreon are enjoying it. I'd imagine so.
Well, the thing that I found about it is just like don't do more than you should. Like the stuff that you're already creating and doing is what you can be offering. Like
Hmm.
content wise and just resources and things that you're already creating and doing. Just give it to your patrons for free, or or not for free, but you know what I'm saying. For
Yeah.
their membership, they get it first. They get it early. Everything like just. And a lot of people that are on Patreon, they try to think of like super creative things to do, and it's hard because they end up overwhelming themselves with all these different
Hmm.
things when you can literally just take what you're already doing, like the live stream thing, for instance. Like that's part of it, and like seeing the in-depth like writing process and things like that. So just take what you already do and just use it for your Patreons or patrons.
Close enough. We but I love that, and again, obviously, guys, go check it out. I'll leave links to all of their social media down below, of course. But the next question I have for you guys, is a perfect segue for people who maybe aren't familiar with the Artificials and wind up clicking on this interview. What song would you recommend to a new listener to check out to kind of give you guys an idea of your sound?
I'm gonna let one of them go first. I'm gonna go last.
Ooh, all right.
I like our new song.
I do too. I do like our new song. I know one song though that you love.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I would say my friends that are into heavier music, I always show them Carrier. And
Ooh,
Carrier is one that my friends that are maybe more into like not as melodic stuff. Usually, like I've got some friends that are more into like death metal or deathcore or whatever.
sure,
And
yeah.
like that one's it's still melodic, but I think that one's got really high energy. And then some people that are more into just kind of like rock or less of the heaviness, I think Shadow Safety is a really good one as well.
Ooh, all right.
I love Mana. That's one of my favorites.
I would put that. In
Yeah,
the
man, it's
I love things that Alan's done. I love Take.
the old school, man.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
Meridian.
Yeah.
Meridian, he wrote.
Meridian's an all-time, like one of my all-time favorite songs of like any genre for sure.
Yeah, it's a good. Yeah, I still listen to it.
I love them all. All of them are my favorite. but if it's one I had to recommend to somebody like to this year, like, hey, check us out, it'd be Cardinal Shift.
Ooh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know
That's
why. I
cool.
just feel like that has the perfect mix of like melodic and heavy for me.
Yeah, the acoustic in the bridge really grabs people.
I would agree.
Yeah,
I
people
would.
love the acoustic guitar for.
Yeah,
It's
it's like this simple, pretty pattern, and like that gets the most compliments, like in the Discord and stuff. People love that part. It's really good though.
I think it's
We may or may
unexpected.
not have. What was that?
I said I think it's unexpected. That's why. You would think like, the crazy guitar riffs and then you wouldn't expect like an acoustic like melodic like part within that song in the bridge. So that's what I would say.
We
But
may or may not have some Cardinal Shift merch coming here soon.
I see the Memento Mori shirt, so I feel like that's,
Oh yeah.
it's on the way,
This is actually alternate artwork that her mom painted, and we made it into a shirt.
Wow, that's so sick.
Well, you gotta see it like.
It's like a sweater, but it's really comfy. I love it.
Check below. It's gonna be
What?
buy it now. After we had talked about just moments ago about like, we're not trying to show for the band. But no, for real. Definitely I'll leave links to the merch below. I'm gonna definitely get something for sure.
Hey, you gave me an in, dude. So
I mean, listen, man. This is I gave you an in. You took it. Kudos. That's not that we're all about chilling here, but you landed it.
He's like
Alan
holding up a QR code.
Yeah, Alan's like, if you just use code, yeah, if you use code Artificials10, you'll get. Oh, love it. Oh man.
No, dude, I hate that stuff as much as the next guy, but like we really do genuinely like care about our fans and try our best to interact with them every day in our Discord.
Yeah, we have game night.
Yeah.
They, Wednesday we're trying to do
Band practice.
Lucas.
There we go.
That's another Patreon perk too. Is we're doing band practices. Band practices every Wednesday, but we haven't been doing them lately just because we're figuring out some of the technical issues that we're having with it.
That's fair. That we should just be like, here's their whole schedule. This is what they're doing on their Patreon. Mondays we have Music Mondays. They just dropped a new song. You should go check that out. Links below. And then
Okay.
Tuesday it's Taco Tuesdays. So we're gonna meet.
Cook dinner with Discord.
Yeah.
All
That'd be
right,
great.
we'll about it now.
No, I feel like as earlier, you were talking about like shilling for merch, I just feel like, we might as well, just talk about the Patreon and again, of course, links below, go check it out. Um, but no, I love that you guys again are doing something that is very much in your wheelhouse and stuff that you're already currently doing, and I think you're just allowing people to kind of get a glimpse into what you do as musicians. And I think for myself, as being such a music nerd, I love the fact that you guys are doing that, and you get to hear different things that you wouldn't necessarily get to hear if you were just listening to the song. Like there's a lot more
Yeah.
depth going on with it. So anytime that I get to talk about having songs with um just more depth or things behind it that make it more intriguing for the listener, then that I'm gonna definitely talk about it. So go check out their Patreon. It's great. And if you can buy merch, go do it too. But great choices. I also have left a link to their YouTube channel as well, so go subscribe to that. You know, Again, if we're already talking about the shill train, we might as well just add subscribe to their YouTube channel onto that list of things to do as well. Uh, the next question I have for you guys is who are you influenced by? Who kind of got you started out within music? And then who influences your style and the way that you guys write more currently now?
Um, I guess as a whole, I think that I started kind of having my own kind of musical mind. Probably most from Killswitch Engage. So started early with Killswitch Engage, and then kind of like they were kind of how I learned how to play heavy guitar, and then how I learned to play like heavy drums was just like basically like Lamb of God. So like very American metal bands.
Oh
And
yeah,
so from there is when I started finding some, and I still love those bands today. But I started to find kind of some stuff that was like kind of like just kind of touches your soul in a different way when you find like a band like Misery Signals, or like like, so Misery Signals was a huge one. Like right now I'm listening to a lot of Counterparts, like
ooh
certain
yeah,
bands like that. I didn't really find any melodic stuff starting out, so when I found Era, like my brain exploded. Like Era has
same.
been extremely influential for me. um the Andromeda EP that is not anywhere out there on, it's not on Spotify or anything. That is one of the most influential works of music, like of all the music that I have. So I would say Era, probably Era and Misery Signal, I would say, as far as heavy music goes. Um, but those pretty much sum up like just thinking of like how can I make this heavy, and then how can I also make it like pretty at the same time. Like Era and Misery Signals, they check the boxes for me for sure.
Cool.
Would agree. Yeah.
Sarah?
What you write. What influences you got going on? I don't know.
Sarah has influences. We've talked about this before. Don't you like I can't remember. She likes stuff.
I don't listen to much music.
She don't really. She listens to a lot of worship music, and so she has like some artists in the worship music world that she likes. Like, what's her name? Yeah, she likes like, as far as bands though, I know for a fact she likes Tesseract and Contortionist and
But I don't listen to them often.
Sleep Token. She likes Sleep Token.
Ooh yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Sleep Token rips.
They do rip. Yeah.
So
that would be my favorite.
yeah, lately I guess I would say Sleep Token.
Ooh, and I forget about Loathe.
Ooh,
I love Loathe.
I would agree with Luke.
For me, anybody that knows me, I talk about this all the time, but like it's Misery Signals, Hope and Hope's Fall. Those are the two
Ooh.
bands that like changed my life, dude. Like I owe a lot of like my melodic sense to those two bands, and and everything like the things before that too. Like I'm like one of those people that listen to everything. Like I don't just listen to metal. I listen to like pop, and country, and R&B, rap, whatever. I'll listen to anything as long as it's got a good a rhythm, good
Sure,
tune,
yeah.
good melody. So like growing up, I listened to a lot of radio, and I hate the radio today. I do. I hate the radio, but growing up, the radio was the only thing I had, and like I
Yeah.
was like listening to like Green Day, Lenny Kravitz, and like Michael Jackson, Spice Girls, like things like this, like just come on the radio, and I learned a little bit of my melodic sense from that. And then when metal came around, it was Hope's Fall and Misery Signals. That's when I was like, okay, this is what I like.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely can. Oh, Sarah, go ahead. Sorry.
I literally just thought of what my favorite band is. Midnight.
The Midnight.
Oh,
Every day. Every day.
No.
I was gonna say you should check out. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Dayseeker, but their
I've heard of
vocalist Rory has a
Yeah.
side project called Hurt Wave, and it's like basically the Midnight with vocals.
Sick.
Yeah, it's
That's cool.
pretty tight. So shout outs to Hurt Wave, they're
I'll have
great.
to check that out.
I
Oh,
go ahead, Alan.
she has another favorite band that she forgot about.
Ooh.
My Chemical Romance.
Oh, I was talking about that.
Heck yeah.
I wasn't going to.
She's ashamed to be a past emo kid, I guess.
Never. You should never be ashamed.
No way.
You got to. I feel like I feel like you guys find this, and I think I even said it in the review that I did of Memento Mori, was that I feel like you guys find such a way to include some like really like obviously technical guitars in that sense, just where it's like really syncopated and like rhythmic in that sense, and I love it. But also at the same point, I think that you find a beautiful way of like putting melodicness into your music, whether it be from like the synths or with Sarah's vocals, where it doesn't necessarily have to be like this specific thing, because I feel like a lot of times within metal music, like there's this like, okay, you do like verse, pre-chorus, chorus, then you do second verse, pre-chorus, chorus, and then you guys have an interesting way of having this flow, but it doesn't necessarily feel like, okay, this is where it's going to stop and start, this is where it's going to stop and start, and then the next part's going to come. It just kind of all cohesively flows together, and I think that's what I've always loved about your band, was the way that you guys kind of incorporate those things. Because there's certain parts where I was like, even with Luke, within Memento Mori, I was like, all right, there's like a little blast beat section, and I was not totally expecting that, but I think it works so well within the song that
Yep.
you kind of overlook those like minuscule details within it. And even some of the other songs like Mana, like I feel like Sarah goes so hard on that track, and I love it because I think the like melodicness of like her vocals kind of mixing with some of the more like rhythmic guitar parts, I was like, all right, I was sitting here just like naturally just like bopping my head because I was just enjoying the sort of musicality of what you guys do, and I think that it obviously plays into a lot of your influences. So I feel like for me, I always love asking this question because I get a better sense of where you guys come from. Yeah, musically, certainly.
Yeah, dude. For me, like I can attribute that, like that writing style kind of thing, to me not conforming to the verse chorus. Like my whole my whole life, I haven't. That's not been a part of like my, I don't know,
mindset.
my mindset or tool belt. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I do away with it. Like I write what I feel should come next. That's just how I do it. I know it sounds simple, but that's just how I do it. I don't stick to a formula, and that's really the sound that you hear in Era and the Artificials, is that kind of like, now newer Era, you're going to hear more structured because Jesse's writing the majority of the music, and he was more of a structured songwriter.
Yeah,
and he helped me actually, like the way he wrote and the way we wrote together. I realized like maybe I do need to incorporate more structure into my music. So like, I guess think parts of like how Era wrote kind of stuck with me, so and helped the Artificial sound the way they do now. But like, I still stick to that kind of like chaotic but cohesive songwriting style.
It's
Yeah.
like a flow state.
When it's fluid, then it flows. Though it adds. That's the difference in like a good song and just like an unstructured collection of riffs. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
if you're gonna bring something back, it needs to be really good. And if you're gonna reincorporate something like in another way that where you spin off of it, it needs to be really good and like very intentional in the way that you do it. And I hear a lot of choruses and songs, and I'm just thinking like I'm 40 seconds into the song, and I'm thinking I'm gonna hear this 4 more times in the next 2.5 minutes, and I don't really want to. I don't really want to. You know what I mean? Like so,
Yeah.
and so I think songs with structure, there's tons of them that are they're fantastic, but having a song with less structure that still flows from piece to piece, I think that's definitely where Alan nails it. And then where Sarah's vocals really tie into it is there's some cool stuff that kind of comes back, but not it's not just like there's a break, the chorus is coming back, and you know it's there, you know. And for me listening as well, like it makes me happy that I get to write on top of that kind of music,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't enjoy listening to stuff that's completely predictable, and you can't just throw people off all the time. Like, you know, it's not like, you know, the Chariot or whatever, which I love the Chariot, but you know, just stuff like that. But you know, I think that having strong riffs and having strong structure around the vocal patterns and then just making it flow, I think that's just another really great way of a song that's just not as common.
Yeah, no, certainly. And I think that, like I mentioned earlier, it's like this flow state of what you guys do where, like, you know, it doesn't necessarily, like, there isn't necessarily like a stop and start point of each particular part of the song. It just kind of has this like flow to it, even with, like, you know, like as I mentioned earlier, Mana, like Watercolors, going through and listening to some of the songs that I didn't have the chance to listen to. It was cool to see that you guys continue that sort of aspect of, okay, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be that part, and if we are going to reintroduce something, we're going to do it in a different way that wasn't the original, you know, first part of the song that you heard. So I like that it keeps it fresh. I think if anything, it keeps it more interesting because you're like, okay, what am I going to expect next? Okay, it's not what I was expecting. So that's cool. So where is it going to go from here? And it's almost like it was almost like a forking path in a way where you're like trying to like navigate how the song's going to go. And I always find it interesting to be like, okay, is this where I feel like the song's going to go, or are they going to completely change it up and do something different? And I like the fact that you guys kind of take the road less traveled, you know, per se, and go about it in a different way. So I wanted to give you guys kudos for that because I think it's awesome.
Thank you, man.
Not that it's intentional, you know.
Yeah. Our sound, we try to take you on like your ears on a journey. It's not gonna be where you expect it to go, but kind of digging it.
And Sarah actually, like, when we first started doing music, the reason why she said that is because she kind of didn't really like the music when we first started. Like, I was kind of.
Still don't until I hear a song and I'm like,
Yeah, and like the thing about it is like when I'm writing a song now, it's like to impress Sarah. Like if she doesn't love it, I know that it's gonna suck. So
no, it's not like that.
like if I show her the song and I get like a genuine reaction, like I love that, you know, then we'll go with it.
But if not, you're like,
yeah, as soon as she's like, I don't know about that, I'm like,
Oh, the part that I love so much that he gives you just tiny, like piece of. That I'm like, you gotta. I'm not about like doing several measures of something. It's like, all right, we gotta move on, you know. But there's some things I'm like, you need to linger there for a little bit longer.
Yeah, I had that same experience with Embers, the bridge section with the blast beat. When I heard this, it was a little bit shorter the first time through, and I was like, dude, this riff is so good. This needs to go on for longer. And with the revision, it's a lot longer, but it's so nice because there's like 3 different grooves to the same riff, and it just plays out really cool.
yeah.
So
That's
it's
my
just like a
favorite part of
nice
the song,
result.
by the way.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love that riff.
Yeah, and I'm glad that Sarah is very much like at the point where she's just like, listen, this you gotta go back to the drawing board, Alan. I you
Yeah,
know
me too with vocals.
We're brutal with each other when it
that's
comes to writing.
honestly I respect that a lot.
Well,
Be-
we just can't get our feelings hurt.
Yeah.
This is both. Well, like, I mean, Luke's involved, but this was like our baby. Like, we both want it to be really good. We both want to be super excited about it. So we don't want it to be like, well, he didn't like it, so we both love what came out of it.
Yeah. So what is the listener doing when they hear the song though? Like
Sure.
the listener's not going to be nearly as nice as we will be to each other. So we have to be a little bit harder. And I remember there was one, we were writing Shadow Safety, and I was thinking, well, these riffs are kind of laid back and kind of groovy. So I'll just kind of sit back. And I tracked the song and I sent it to Alan. He was like, I don't know, man. I think you can do way more. And I was like, well, okay, let's throw all that out. And he was like, just go harder. Just like, add more to it. And I'm sitting there thinking like, I didn't want to have like fills and grooves all over the top of his riffs. And I'm like, he wanted more of that. So we kind of met in the middle. And so I sent the next revision and I was like, well, I hope he likes this one. I'm mad about it. He's like, okay, sorry about that. I'm like, thank the Lord. All right.
You text me, you're like, I just sent Alan the revision. And I'm like, of like Alan's face, like, it's like, we know when we know.
I remember that because like Luke had just written Carrier, and I was extremely pleased with his his writing and everything in that. So that I was like, surely this next song he's gonna bring it. And then he sent us, like he said, he sent us the laid back version of Shadow Safety, and it was too safe. Yeah, I was like, oh man, I feel like he could do more, but I didn't want to be like a jerk and be like, this sucks. So I was like, let's do more.
Well, and that's just us like figuring out how to write together. Because
Yeah.
it was kind of was it in Cardinal Shift where the patterns are so crazy? Is it that one like or the end of the song? There's a guitar solo and the drums are just like all over the place, and Alan's just like, do as much as you think. And I'm like, okay, well, I know what that means now, so I can actually do that now because at the start when we had just been writing a little bit, it was kind of like too much drumming over a laid back part seems like trying to like take over the song, like. And also, we don't always have vocals on some of it, so I'm like, I don't know where the vocals are going to be.
Sure.
But then once stuff starts to like fall into place, it's a lot easier to write.
Every song's a journey, like even just writing it.
Like this was the hardest vocally, like vocal. It was so hard to figure out vocal parts for the song, especially at the beginning.
It was.
Like there's a part in the beginning of the song you just couldn't say anything.
The beginning
no matter
part
how much
with
we
the
tried.
the tapping stuff in the beginning of the song, we could not figure anything out that sounded cool, like for her singing.
And we recorded a whole like verse for it, and we scrapped it because we're like, it's just not as good as it could be. So we're like, okay, let's just no. There's so many things from like the Heart album that I would love to change because like back in the day we didn't know how to write together, and I feel like a lot of the time we just settled on a vocal part or just traded. And now I'm like, man, I don't like how that sounds now. I wish we could have done something different here. Like, or I'm like, that's a cheesy part now. And I just want it to be,
We definitely take more time now in consideration into how we write. Yeah.
It's the slightest, like, I don't know about that. It's not going.
I think it's more like tough love, that I can notice there was like a shift in the way that you guys kind of write where, I went back and listened to some of the stuff off Heart and I was like, I still love it. It's still great. I still have a lot of fond memories from reviewing that album. But I feel like with the most current stuff that's out, and I love getting this perspective from you guys because, obviously you've written the material and, you were talking to the source here. But I think that there's um, so much more intentionality between like you guys being like, okay, listen, I don't know if this part's gonna work, and you're like, okay, well, I know you can do better. There's something about this song that I can hear that there's something missing, and if we can just put like 10% or like 20% more effort into it, maybe that's what the song requires, right? And
Hmm.
with the music now, it's like there's so much more intentionality behind it. I feel like you said, you've had more time to kind of mull over it and be like, okay, this song is at like 90%, but can we put it at like 110? Can we give it that little extra 10%? And now every song that I've listened to thus far now has been that, like, okay, we're doing more than 100% now. Like, we want to make sure that when people listen to these songs, they're like, oh my god, like this is awesome. Like they definitely, and it would be cool to see like the demos from like how you guys originally wrote it to now. Like, it would be such a kind of contrast between like the original first portions of the song and then to obviously have the final product. um I think that's really cool, and I love, again, that it plays into the music nerdism that I have for music. But um I think it also shows how songs can change, and how important it is to kind of push someone in a healthy way to have the best version of that song come out, because you could always look back and be like, yeah, I don't know if I gave it that 110% that I should. And same with my interviews. Like, I go back and I'll watch some of the old ones and be like, I think I could have pushed a little bit more. I think I could have asked a better question, or I think I could have done that. And it just makes the product more better, because then I can go back and listen to this interview and be like, oh, I could have asked that question. Why didn't I ask that question? It would have been, there's always things that you can kind of fix. But I feel like with each iteration of the artificials thus far, there's been this like emphasis on just trying to put out the next best thing, trying to push a little bit harder. And then the next song that I'm going to listen to, I'm going to be like, now I know how hard you guys have worked on the material. So now I'm going to be like, okay, are they going to give me that 120% next time,
Oh yeah,
We
for
won't
sure.
release it if we don't. I'm telling you now, we will not.
Yeah, Sarah, dude, she's on me about it.
Like, we don't write fluff stuff. It's gonna be like, there's albums where you get like fluff songs, okay, then they have like two really good songs. I don't want that constant, like,
All
That's why
12s.
we write.
we
If,
don't write just to write. It needs to be.
yeah, like if we do another album or EP, like you better believe we're gonna give 110% on every song. Like not one song's gonna be like, this sucks.
I'm waiting for it. I'm ready. I'm
Yeah.
waiting for that. I'm ready for you guys to test my wills. I'm waiting for the next song, so I can be. No, I'm not gonna be extra hard on it, but I'm probably gonna love it. I'm just gonna be frank, but but it's very exciting. So I appreciate that. Again, you guys really push the limits, and I hope that again people can kind of get that thought process behind that. But the next question I have for you guys is a fun one. If you guys could pick a song to cover, what would it be?
I'm really digging the Midnight lately. So, and we actually have like a little Midnight cover that we were trying to do, but we never finished. But I'd like to see that one done, maybe like a
What was it called?
Light Years by Midnight.
Ooh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's really good. Oh, Luke.
Oh, Luke's here.
Am I back? Am I good?
Yes.
That's a really hard question because I love so much music. I would say one that I think we could cover in a cool way would be "Ebb and Flow" by Misery Signals.
All
I
right.
think that I think the vocals and the instruments would sound good for sure.
Okay. I'm gonna listen to that song now and see about it.
We could definitely do it. We could definitely do it for sure.
Yeah, I know you were doing that drum beat for it when I was over at your house.
Yeah, and so I'm practiced up for that one because that song is really hard to play on drums.
You knew.
Dude,
Luke?
I saw them. I actually saw Misery Signals for the first time this summer, and I mean, they're just insanely good. Just how complex their music is and how tight it is, and those drum patterns are just unreal. How hard that stuff is to play.
Oh yeah.
And most like above average drummer, it would take multiple takes to even get like a live playthrough with that quality. Like it's unreal how good those guys are. Anyway,
He's
that's
one of
my
my
cover.
What was that?
Without
Al?
a doubt.
What would you want us to cover? Christmas song.
Which Christmas song though, Sarah?
Oh, she
Mary, Did You Know by the Artificials.
we did have a Christmas song that we did for our dogs that we never released. That was what was it? It was that Paul McCartney cover, or no? It was Paul
Oh,
McCartney. What was it? Ding dong. You know that one?
I'm familiar with it. I don't remember the name.
It's got the weird like synthesizer in the song. It's like wham 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 wham. It's yeah.
Oh, it's
Simply having
Simply a Wonderful Christmas Time. Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, by Paul McCartney. I have a cover of that we recorded, but it's really short. It's like a minute long. We could probably do something with that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Me and this pug over here did the cover.
Oh yeah, Frankus. He's sleeping.
oh,
Frank it.
He's the metal dog on the
the
internet.
famous.
the famous metal dog,
Yeah, let's get it.
the Bubbas.
He's okay. He just does this when you pick him up.
My cat is currently sleeping behind me on my bed, so he is. I know the feeling, but love the ideas. Obviously, guys, if you'd love to hear a song for the Artificials to cover, drop them in the comments.
Oh yeah.
Who knows? Maybe they'll do a cover. We'll find out. The next question I have for you guys, if you were to have a dream collaboration, someone special guest on an Artificial song, who would you love to have on?
Easy. Somebody from Misery Signals. or the guy from Sleep Token. I want him to be on.
Ooh, okay. Mysterious man.
No, I love the imagery the Sleep Token has. It's really cool.
I would agree. I love it too.
Sarah doesn't.
Mike Kinsella from American Football, to have him write some clean riffs for us to write a song beneath. That would be cool.
That is cool. That's a unique answer. I like that one.
I like that one as well. Sarah,
I didn't expect you to say that.
Dude, I'm obsessed with Midwest emo, man. I've got a problem. I really do. I love it.
Same. I love Midwest emo, baby. Let's go. Sarah, do you have an answer?
Sarah's. It's weird. Sarah's like an enigma when it comes to stuff like this. It's hard to know what she likes musically.
I'm just weird. I'm weird. I don't know. I don't really like listening to music all day. I don't like it. Wears me out. I don't know what's wrong, but we make it. There's certain things I like to listen to over and over and over again, and I don't really venture out listening to anything new. I just listen to what I know.
And lately, it's been the midnight.
I'll listen to it all. I don't get tired of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just weird. I don't know.
Listen, welcome to the club, but I do find, I feel like the Midnight would be a good collaboration too. I feel like, you guys already have the synth going on, so might as well do it. So guys, listen, the time has come on the faithful, part of this interview where I say you have to go on twitter.com, go tag the Artificials, go tag the Midnight. Listen, the collab of the century, some might argue, and then we'll just throw Misery Signals on top of that. they'll
Oh my
get a little
God,
sprinkle.
dude.
Listen, that's you tag both of those. You type in collab question mark, and I didn't go to law school, so I can't say this with certainty, but there is a possibility that could happen. So if you want it bad enough, you can believe that it'd be true. Just saying,
Yeah.
manifestation.
Oh, that-
So do it up. But the next question I have for you guys is my personal favorite. As you can tell, I'm a huge nerd, so I love to ask this question. If you guys could be a video game character, who would you be?
That's a good question, dude. Because I love video games.
I could tell. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he don't play it.
I don't know, dude. Well, I don't know. I think I would. One of my favorite video games of all time is Metroid. But as you know, Samus is a woman. But
That's
I would be
okay.
Samus. That's my answer.
I love it. I love that for you.
What about
Ooh,
you, Luke?
probably Altair from Assassin's Creed,
Nice.
That's a good
the
one.
the OG.
I don't know. Thing off Crash Bandicoot with a half face and half robot. That ugly thing.
Oh, Doctor, what's his name?
Nitro.
Dr. Nitro. Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Nitro. Yeah,
Nice.
that
She
was a
loves
very.
that character for some reason.
He was my boyfriend all the time when I was a kid.
I love that. That's great. I love that. Guys, obviously, and also I want to give a shout outs because you guys did do a cover of One Wing Angel, which
Oh yeah.
classic Final Fantasy soundtrack. So I gotta give that a shout. So I'll leave a link for all my
Dude,
video
the
game
cool
homies.
thing about that cover, like, I use I forget his name. What was it? Yuamoto or what his name is? The guy who wrote the song. I forget how to say his name. But I used his actual sheet music to rewrite in our style. So I took section by section the entire song and just rewrote it how we would do it. So if you actually listen to the real version of the song and then the artificial version, it's like a carbon copy of it, but in metal style.
That's
It's pretty
crazy.
cool.
My head hurts now. I can't. Wow.
I was sitting behind Alan while he was playing guitar, and I had little finger puppets. Hats kept falling off. The people and the swords kept falling out of my hands. And I was probably 2 or 3 weeks after delivering a baby, and I was I don't know how we did.
Oh, I love that. That's great. I feel like that makes that cover much higher on my list now.
The finger puppets.
That's yes. Give Sarah the kudos that she deserves for those finger puppets. That's major respects.
The little outfit kept
Dude,
falling
she
off.
did a great job actually, making it look just like the characters.
I made the wigs.
Like Sephiroth, man, it looked awesome.
Love it. I absolutely love that. Whenever I get to talk about video games here on the channel, it's a great day. So, but the next question I have for you guys, if you were to compile a dream tour lineup, who would be on it, including the artificials, of course?
I'm gonna let y'all go first.
You're just gonna say misery signals.
Just the misery signals. Just take them out.
Just count me, you know my answer. Just count me out.
Man, depends on how many bands we're talking about here.
We're
Yeah, how many
talking about just an absolutely stacked lineup of 4 bands, including yours. So 5 total.
5 total bands. Oof, that's tough.
I ain't thinking about going to tour.
I won't put misery signals on mine since they'll be on Alan's. I would say probably Artificials, Loathe, Sleep Token, Touche Amore, and probably Counterparts.
Ooh, yeah, that's a must. I love
I'd
that.
go to that tour.
100%.
Yeah, hit
Honestly.
all the different angles. Hit all the different metal angles. You know.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Dream tour, man. Oof. I don't know. I like all kinds of music, but Misery Signals, of course. Midnight. Sleep Token. But I know Luke already said that one.
It's all right.
And
We'll just do both of the tours and just play with Sleep Token on both of them.
yeah. And I'm gonna say, I'm gonna give my boys a shout out because I toured with them twice in both bands that I was in, Broadcast and in Era. I toured with this band in both those bands, which is kind of crazy if you really think about it. And they were the funnest, coolest dudes I've ever toured with. So Sirens and Sailors,
Oh,
they got to be on the tour.
love it. They're a great band too.
Oh yeah, great dudes, man. Coolest bands to tour with ever. They're so funny. And I don't know, man. Probably another not a metal band. Probably something chill. I don't know. I'll have to get back to you on that one. It'd be fun to tour.
I don't know. Let me go. I don't know.
I feel like it would be the Midnight, Sleep Token,
Tesseract.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be kind
that's a strong set list.
That'd be kind of a good. That'd be a great tour. I feel like you get.
Heck, yeah.
Let's just go with Sarah's tour.
Okay. Sarah's tour is the lit tour, guys.
I told Mama I can be with her.
I'm down for that.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah,
All right.
seeing that they sell out their tours in like 5
Oh yeah, there'll be a lot of people at those shows.
A lot of.
I haven't listened to music in forever either, so I'm not up to date. I'm trying to do all this. Just trying to.
Well, guys, if you want to make the Artificials the next biggest band on the face of the earth, you can check the links below to go sign up for their Patreon and do all that sort of stuff. Go pick up merch. Make sure to tweet at Misery Signals a ton of times to have them go out on tour with the Artificials. Consumerism. Just might as well do it. So love it. The next question I have for you guys: if you were trapped on a desert island for the next month, and there was one album you could bring with you to listen to, what album would that be?
You know my answer. Well, no, you don't know my answer. You know what band it is.
I know what band it is, not album though. So this is new. This is new information to me.
Of Malice and the Magnum Heart, because that album, when I first heard it, it was like I hated it. I didn't understand it. I thought it was gibberish, like for real. And I was like pretty bummed out that I bought the CD. And then I brought it over to a friend's house, and I was like, "Hey, dude, I just bought this, Misery Signals. Like, it sucks, I think." But he was like, "Put it in my stereo system. We'll check it out together." And I was like, "All right." So he put it in his sounds. I don't know if it's because he had like a good sound system, but like we listened to it again from start to finish, and I don't know, dude. Something in my brain just clicked, and I got it. And I was like, "This is the sickest thing ever." And ever since then, I've just loved that album, and it never gets old. I could still draw inspiration from that album today. So yeah, that'd be my answer.
Love it. Sarah's faces.
Artwork, like even Midnight, I don't know what their albums are called. I just know what artwork looks like. Like, it's so bad. The one with like the legs that are up there or something like.
I'll find a photo. It's the one with the legs. So we'll throw it up on the screen, Brandon.
I don't know if there's like it might be a ball.
Well, I will do my research and find out which Midnight album it is. I got you, Sarah.
Yeah, you do. Oh no.
Luke, what do you got?
Mine would be Probably The Great Misdirect by Between the Buried and Me.
Ooh,
I
that
feel
is
like
fantastic.
that album just has so much different, so much stuff going on and so many songs. That's one that's like, it's like I come back to it like once a year, and then I like hyper fixate on it for like a week, and then it's like, all right, we'll see you next year, and it'll be y'all listen to another week next year.
I love that. I'm kind of the same way, and this isn't to shill to Alan at all, but that's every time I go back to Augment, man, that I listen to that at least
Yes,
once a
same.
year.
Augment,
Oh, kudos. I love that. I love that
Augment
album.
and Impulse for me, for sure.
Love it. Those are great. Guys, check out Era, but also check out the Artificials.
Please do.
The midnight cocktail not legs. Doing this. She's doing this.
Oh, okay. I know which one. I know which one it is. But I got you anyway, Sarah. We've post Brandon was already on the case to assist. So I'm on it. I'm on it. But the last thing, guys, that I usually round out my interviews with is well, first of all, thank you for spending the time. Much appreciated. But what do you want people to take away from the Artificials? Because I find a lot of the times with musicians, like, it's a way for you to have an outlet to do what you love to do.
Alan's contact picture is so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. This chord for some reason like restarts itself sometimes for us. I don't know why.
It's all right. Well, so what I was going through is, obviously people make music for a multitude of reasons. But at the core of it, there's people behind it that make the music. So, why do you guys create music? What is the motivation or the love or the admiration for what you do? Why do you create music?
You want it, Sarah? You want me to get it? I would say the reason that I create music, genuinely, it's one of the things I'm truly passionate about in life, and I can't see myself not creating music just because there's constantly a riff or a vocal line or something just in my head all the time. So I don't see a reason to ever not create music, and I hope that never goes away. I mean, it hasn't. I'm almost 30 years old and it hasn't gone away yet. But I would say I really just have a desire to just take the stuff that I feel like I don't know, gifts that I've been given by God, or passions that I've been given by God, and just leave something behind that I can look back on and remember the time of life that I was in, or the stage of whatever I was going through at that time. And even, hopefully beyond that, maybe my kids and my grandkids will listen to songs and think, hey, a lot of hard work and passion was put into that, and for good reason as well, because I know there's a lot of meaning, which I kind of write. I write my own stuff with just kind of a side project group. But it's just kind of the same things, like the positive message, the hopeful message is something that I think when the time and attention goes into it, that goes into these riffs and these patterns and all those kinds of things, I feel like it's something that stands the test of time, and it's not something that you just listen to and just kind of discard. I feel like you can hear a low effort song, and maybe sometimes you can't. But I feel like when you hear a song that people have poured their soul into, I feel like that's something that'll last for who knows how long. There's songs from artists that have passed on now that will live forever.
I agree. Love it.
Yeah. What about you, Sam?
I feel called to do this music with Alan. Really, it's about spreading and love and people just learning more about Jesus. That's what's gotten me through everything. I'm a very serious person a lot of the time, and I if someone else is feeling that way, I'm gonna feel it with them. So I'm always trying to help people to not feel that way. And to me, I just want people to have hope, because when you look around, there's none. I don't know. I'm not really good at explaining it, but I think when you listen to our music, you definitely can tell that that's where our lyrics are going.
We want people to have some hope, you know?
To not give up, and to find out where our hope comes from. That's from God. So we're sort of a Christian band. I don't know it, but I mean, definitely, 'cause I just don't write lyrics just to write them. They really mean something to me, or they whatever I'm going through that month, or we're going through, it's pretty much going to be about that. Like Cardinal Shift, it was about being persistent, like not giving up. It was talking about when focus fades, the harvest waits, the seed takes fruit, the mountains move. Even though we can't see, we are actually still planting seeds. Like, even though we're like in the thick of it, keep going, because we will see a harvest, and it's hard. Like, we'll get so just like burnt out or stressed, and it's like, don't give up.
There was
don't give up.
Yeah.
Like, this will help people. Like, and we get so many messages about that, and I just want to continue to do that.
Yeah. I kind of want to piggyback off of Sarah, because like our intention has been like the same. Like we're
Sure.
right there with the same purpose together. Like I believe like me and her were brought together to do this for real, you know, like, so, you know, earlier in my career, music was very vain and selfish, and it's not very much not that way like anymore. And it's because of the new life that Sarah's breathed into the Artificials. You know, I was gonna quit, like after Era, like I was gonna quit music. Like I'm done. And I was so negative on her wanting to do music. I was like, there's no point.
I was like, well, that's great, let's do it. And like, no, we gave you time.
But she was like, you know, wanting to do music, and I was like, I know how this ends, so I promise you it's gonna suck, and I'm not trying to do it again. So I'm out. And then she just, I don't know, man. She was put here for me, man, and that's why we're here today, like doing music. It wouldn't be without Sarah for sure. So I'm very thankful for that. And yeah, that's the mission, man, is to give people hope that there is, you know, there is someone out there, you know, Jesus.
Yeah.
That will get you through everything.
Bold. Also, like, we do have a lot of people that aren't Christians that listen to us, and that's awesome.
And that's cool. Yeah, if you don't get down with what we believe, then that's fine. Just enjoy the music still, you know.
Yeah.
I still think it's regardless of, you know, if you are religious or not. I think there is that all-encompassing idea that, like, very similarly to what I do here, like my whole brand and the reason why I do this is because I love music so much, and I want people to experience that positivity of music and how much it's affected my life and how much it's changed me as a person. And so anytime that I have bands on, I'm hoping that they're, you know, highlighting what they do. And there's obviously passion and love to what you guys are doing, but I also feel like there's such a profound, like, positive, you know, mental attitude that you guys have in doing this. And, you know, I hope that that's what people take away from your band more specifically, because, like, at the end of the day, you know, I could sit here and say, like, the music's great, I love the music, you know, I love, you know, what you guys are doing currently, but I also feel like in the same vein, it's like, if people can take away this positive message, that, you know, there are people out there that are there for you and, you know, want to be, you know, a profound portion of your life, then, you know, they're out there. And I hope that, you know, that's what people take away from the Artificials as a whole. And then if you do happen to find, you know, religious value in, you know, the Artificials, then certainly go do that. But, you know, that doesn't always necessarily have to be the be all end all of that. And I think that you guys have a great universal message that I think a lot of people can, and including myself, can get behind, just like continuing to persevere, continue to do what you love to do. And I hope that not only that does this interview highlight, you know, your positive effect on, music as a whole, but I also hope that people check you guys out and really like invest in what you guys do, because I love it, and I feel like if there's any opportunity that I can to promote you guys, I'm gonna do it. So
Thank you.
so very cool. The final thing, guys, the most important thing, tell the people where they can find you at on social media, what you guys have coming up in the next couple months, and anything else you'd like to plug.
So first off, let me just say thank you so much, man, for inviting us on the podcast or the video.
It's same difference.
Yeah. We really do appreciate it. And I really do appreciate like all the questions. They were really good. And just like you giving us another shot, like I didn't know that you took a break from us and then you came back. So I appreciate you just like coming back to us.
The prodigal son returns.
I have returned.
Welcome home.
Back and watch the old review, 'cause I didn't even know your name. From heart.
Oh, I
didn't
think
know that.
no, you probably watched it, but it was a long time ago.
It was 5 years ago, so that is incredibly long time. Yeah. I don't remember what I had for breakfast yesterday, to be fair. So yeah.
It's same.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find us on everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all of this stuff. But we're mainly more active on like Instagram and Facebook.
We'd love people to sign up for Discord.
Oh yeah, Discord. Discord's free. You can join our server, come be a part of our community. We have game nights. We just talk with our fans. We really want to get to know you guys.
You have a question?
Yeah.
You just want to show us what you're eating
Or
for
you-
breakfast?
or you-
Lunch?
yeah.
You just did. I mean,
Or if you want to pop in and be like, "Era, augment, yeah," and then leave, cool, whatever.
well, I was reading it last night. Posted their albums of the year, whatever the song of the year. You put like that meme with the guy like looking, squinting to see where the artist was.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
I was looking to see where we're at.
Even if you don't listen to our music and you just want to hang out, like I'm cool with that. But yeah, you can find us there, and yeah, thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Well, guys, listen, the artificials, listen, you've made it to the very end. The least you can do is go check out the artificials. All of the links are below, so go give them a follow. If you can go support them by buying their music, buying merch, or signing up for their Patreon, please go do it. These people need to continue to make music. So, if I can come back after 5 years of not listening to the band for a little bit and coming back and being like, yo, these guys are great, then you can too. So I'll leave links below. Go give them some love. If you enjoyed this interview, share it, like it, subscribe. It goes a long way. It will also be in audio format on Spotify, Apple Music, all that sort of stuff. So if you don't want to look at us, which I'd be very offended, and I'll go cry after this, then you can listen to it on your drive home, whatever. Much appreciated for the support. And again, massive thanks to the artificials for coming on. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.